Welcome everyone to the fourth webinar of Marketing Webinar Series by Marketing Maestros, being brought to you by Indus Business Academy, Bangalore. I welcome you all to this August webinar. There are research scholars from across Bangalore and elsewhere. There are people from teaching fraternity across Bangalore from elsewhere. And there are students. And then to everyone who have joined here, our students and the students from MICA probably, students of FPM I can find here. So to all of you, welcome to this webinar. We have had 3 webinars before prior to this. The first of them was given by Professor Udo Wagner from University of Vietnam, followed by the second one by Professor Mithilesh Jha, the former professor of marketing from IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Bangalore. And then we have had Dr. Ramesh Kumar from IIM Bangalore as well. So this is the fourth one. And we have got some tremendous speakers. We've been getting tremendous speakers. And we have Professor Varsha Jain from Mudra Institute of Communications, Ahmedabad today. It's a privilege that we have you today, Professor Varsha, amongst us. And let me have a privilege to introduce you to the audience. Professor Varsha Jain is a professor in integrated marketing communications and co-chairperson, fellow program in management. It's a doctoral program at MICA. She is one of the few elite in the areas of teaching and research by virtue of her expertise of more than 17 plus years in the field of teaching and research. So she has reached, in fact, to this stage, in fact. She has 100 plus publications, both of international and national repute, to her credit. She has published a lot of cases, books, and also a lot of research articles at different journals of ABDC repute and A+ journals as well. She has contributed cases in IV case collections, Emerald Emerging Markets case collections, and she has also contributed case to the marketing management textbook, 15th edition by Philip Kotler, of course, by invitation. She is a recipient of 20 national and international awards, and she has won a gold medal in research and scholarship. She has won a best researcher of the year in the year 2019 by Center for Education Growth and Research. It is an initiative by Government of India. She is a visiting guest, visiting scholar, and visiting professor across many universities in USA and, of course, in India as well. She teaches in IIM Raipur, Trichy, and Indore. She's into advisory board and review committees of many ABDC listed journals. Professor Jain specializes in consumer behavior, luxury branding, digital marketing, and digital natives. Consumer behavior, a digital native with Professor Jagdish Sheth and Professor Skulls. It's an Indian edition. I guess she is on to writing a consumer behavior, a global edition. We welcome you on behalf of IBA, on behalf of marketing function. So we welcome you to this webinar, and over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for your kind words and the introduction. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be with you all. And I always miss that human connect, but I think the digital platforms have also helped us to reach out to different platforms, different communities especially from the global academic fraternity. So thank you so much for inviting me. I think it's a pleasure to be with you all. So primarily I'll discuss my views, which I'm going to share with you, followed by Q&A. And maybe you can note down your questions, and at the end of my presentation, I can take it up. So as you all might have read the book which we recently came up, and which Professor Hedke has mentioned just now, about the consumer behavior, a digital native. And you all are primarily digital native, and we were discussing that this pandemic has actually made everybody a digital native. Some people liked it, some people didn't like it, but there was no choice. So what I've done is I've actually gone beyond the book, and I will be discussing something related to what is there in the book, which was before Corona, during Corona, and after Corona. And you might be also interested to know what's happening in the future and how to take it up from there. So with that note, because digital is such an area, to be honest with you all, where you need constant evolution. It's difficult to cope up with the platforms. It's difficult to cope up with the digital natives like you all, because the behavior is constantly changing. And I tell all my students every time, especially at MICA, that it's a constant journey. It's a constant research which you have to do on all these people, because their attitudes, their feeling, perception, everything changes drastically, and that has to be incorporated by the brands. So with that thought, let me just share some insights on what we have curated at 3 phases, and then we'll take it up from there. So yeah. So I'm going to discuss the influence of digital media on digital natives. This is one of the chapter which we wrote on the 6th chapter of the book. And I'm extending that further to make it more relatable for you all. And we'll see how the transition has gone from the different phases. So I'll quickly give you some introductions. Then, as I was telling you, that what was happening before COVID-19 during that time, and then what is going to happen post COVID-19 or Corona phase. So to start with, let me just tell you a very quick introduction about the digital natives. Earlier, people used to think that, digital natives are only those people who are young, who are into that area where they access the social media platform and digital media. But unfortunately, digital natives are not only the young people. That is what we have redefined in the book as well, which is the digital natives are those people, irrespective of the age. They are the individuals who access the products, services online, and they usually make search, do the comparison, evaluation. Of course, the intensity will be higher as we compare it with Gen Z and Y. But I think all those people are very important part of the digital natives scenario. So that particular roadblock which was there in the mind of the people, I think that has to be changed. And why digital natives are so important? Because of these numbers. If you see, from 2020 only, we have curated the numbers which talks about like 60% of the world's population belong to this category. 81% are from the developed nation, of course, but I think the developing nations are also coming into the forefront. Internet penetration has increased in our country as well, as you would know. And there's always a 9% growth in this particular category. Now, interestingly, what has happened is during this pandemic, the entire scenario has changed completely, which means that 34% of people have started using these digital channels. 67% of them have changed their behavior and they have become more online. 73% of people have actually personalized their journey. And 26% they have changed completely to the online experience and the strong world of digital. So here I would also like to mention we are doing some other studies on the experience part. And I was interviewing some of the CEOs and trying to understand the ecosystem of customer experience. There they mentioned that they told me very clearly that the future is going to be more online, because people are becoming more efficient in terms of the usage. They want a human intervention, but not so much as they used to get it earlier. And probably the transactions which they are making has to be through the technology. So the technology is going to drive the entire consumer experience as well. And the best example that comes in my mind, and most of the CEOs during that interviews have told me, is Amazon, because Amazon does a fabulous job in terms of providing the seamless experience to all of us. So that is where the pandemic has actually changed the entire scenario of the people and their usage and pattern and everything. So if you talk about how digital natives will be there for the post-pandemic scenario, just to give you a heads up on the numbers, 70-80% will of course continue doing the online shopping. 51% will increase the media usage. And this is very interesting to a country like India, where the usage of social media has become very important, and that actually roots through our culture. And I would like to mention that because from some of the other studies, what we have found is that culture is also reflected in the social media usage, which means that we belong to a particular collectivistic culture. Through the collectivistic culture, we have subcultures. So, for example, it could be Bengali culture, or it could be, Maharashtrian culture, or it could be the Malayan culture. So that is also rooted, and we have global orientation. So that means all these cultures are the fusion which has been reflected in the usage of the social media, which has been done by the digital native. This is very interesting and unique for a country like India, because I think in other parts of the world, like a developed nation, when we work with the global team for our research, what they always say is that, there's a very homogeneous set of digital natives there. But here in a country like India, of course, we are heading towards homogeneous group, but still we have not acquired that particular part. So that is something which is quite interesting to know. And there's increase, of course, by 74% in terms of the online transaction. And the other part which you see over here on my slide is the value. Now, value is something which is very important for digital natives, especially in a country like India. Now, when we were working on this project, which I was mentioning you about the customer services, as well as the other projects which we are working on with our global team from the US and the UK, there also what we have found is that value is something which is very important in the entire world. But for the Indian consumers, it becomes very important because they work not only on the share of wallet, but share of heart. Now, what does that mean? It means that I'm doing a transaction. Of course, when you buy products and services, digital natives are doing a transaction, but their emotions and feelings are also associated with those products and services, which is quite unique to a country like India. Because, for example, if you have Dabur, their people are having emotions with those products which they use. Patanjali is another example. And it's not only the product uses, Tata, Birlas, these are other, conglomerate business that we have in India, where it is beyond the transaction. So the value is something which is really important for all of us, and it goes beyond the monetary aspect of that particular product or service. So that is quite unique. Another research I would like to mention here, which was done by McKinsey, and they found that any brand or a company that scores 4 out of 5 actually is doing very well in India, because Indian consumers are really very demanding, and they always see how much value has been added to that product or the service. So I think if any brand or a company scores 4 on 5 in a country like India, they are supposed to be doing very well. And in a country like Japan, people have comparatively less expectations. So there, if you just score, most of the brands, they score 5 on 5, because they always feel that these brands and companies are doing very well there. Now, the other aspect which you see here is the consumers are turning to digital commerce, but they are also getting into mindful consumption. And now this has become very important now, given the situation of pandemic. Reason being, besides value, people have themselves have become very mindful about what they are consuming, how they are consuming, and how the consumption pattern works. So let me explain you about mindful shopping and consumption. There are 3 layers which has emerged. One layer is known as the individual layer, where the consumer themselves think that whether this product or a service is making sense to them. Second layer is that how much value addition that particular product is giving to my community. And the third layer is about the society, which means that if I'm going to consume this product or a service, how it is going to affect the society. And that is also connected to the sustainability part, which is going to be there in my presentation in the subsequent slides. So here are some changes which has evolved, and I think they're going to stay, because mindful consumption was always seen in the US, and there the problem. So we have introduced a new model which was ABCD, which means that acquisition, buying, consumption, and disposition. So for them in the US, it's not about acquiring and buying the product. The problem over there is still a disposition of the product. Because if I'm going to dispose my products and services, it should not harm the society. It should not create unnecessary problems and issues to the people in the society and the environment. So they have clearly understood that how our consumption patterns can affect the environment. For that, I'll give you another example. Like Mercedes, they have come up with a new car where if you use that car, it is going to actually help the environment. Now, that is the level at which companies and the products are working, because, you know, as a consumer, as a digital native, also you feel that, yes, in a way, after consuming the products, I'm making sense, I'm helping the environment. And the other example I would like to tell you is that in India, when we buy the airline tickets, we always focus on, you know, the timing, how much we have to pay, and all of that. So that's again boils down to the value. But in the US, they actually assess that what is the percentage of the carbon footprint which will be there by that particular airline. After doing the assessments and the evaluations, they decide whether they will go for American airline or some other airline. So that is something which is quite interesting, because that is the level at which our consumers are growing. So the moment consumer grows up to that level, when they are so careful about the environment, where they're so careful about the society, that means that all the brands and the products have to make significant changes in order to satisfy these expectations. And that is why I keep telling all my students, all my colleagues, and we are constantly working and doing the research. The reason being, digital natives are evolving every time. And it is very important to understand what are the dynamic shifts which are happening with them, and how are their behavior changing, because that significantly affects your brands and products and the business world. So with that, let me give you a snapshot of what was happening before Corona. This will be a little nostalgic for all of us, because I'm sure we were having a blissful environment at that point of time, because we used to travel, we used to meet people, because we are people-oriented community, right? Being part of India. So let's have this nostalgic virtual journey before COVID-19. So before that, the important aspect was, of course, the digital natives were empowered with the internet. They used to use multiple screen. Now here I want to quote another research which comes from our own country, like India. And there what has happened is, it will also come in my subsequent slide. First screen is your mobile phone. And then, you know, television becomes like a passive screen at the back, and you always focus more on your phone. You want to do your chat, as you see, Facebook, Twitter, anything you want to access, you do it. This is how digital natives behave. Now I would like to also quote Indian digital natives, especially because what happens is they have access to multiple languages. When you have access to multiple languages, your cognitive processing is very high, which means that you are able to use multiple screen. So for example, even with our mobile phone, we are able to use tablet, we are able to access the television, and we can use different screens simultaneously, which doesn't happen in other part of the world. And that is very unique to our country. And I think that is why the digital natives from India, uh, are very different from rest of the world. But the negative side of that particular behavior is that we all have become very impulsive. So when you have access to multiple screens, you become very impulsive, which means that you want everything very instantly. You can't wait. So that is something which has emerged as digital natives behavior. Of course, you get sophisticated gadgets. You always curate a lot of, product knowledge from different instances. As I was telling you, you have global orientation, you have colleagues, friends outside India, from the UK, US, Europe, other parts of the world. And then you have your own local friends, local communities, because you want to always be part of that community. Maybe the mode has changed. So this is quite interesting because the mode it has changed, which means that we might be using YouTube to have an arti, but then the arti should happen after a ritual. So that is quite interesting, to follow the norms and the rituals. Our channels have become digital, but the ritual is still there. So we have not excluded our roots completely, which is quite interesting. With that, we also have the social commerce, which is the integration of the e-commerce and the social media platforms. And that is going to stay even post COVID-19 as well. So with that, the innovations, of course, have brought by the brands, which means that the brands are also trying to give more personalized services. And the very good brand that comes in our mind, of course, is Apple, that gives a lot of innovations to the digital native, especially, though that rate of innovation that we used to have earlier from Apple has gone down, but still, it's always known for innovative products which are being offered. Now, with that, this is another example which I wanted to tell you about, ambitiousness of the brands and the products to be a little more proactive, which means that this Blue Apron is a brand based out of the US. And what they do is they provide the entire details. So I spend like 2 to 3 months every year in the US with my co-authors to write on the papers and the books and attending the conference and all of that. This year I could not go because of this pandemic. But whenever I go to the US, I have seen that they always provide detailed description about the products, from where, for example, if you have like, potato chips, now from where the potato got uh, in the factory, what was the status of the potato, how these potatoes were used, what was the process, how much oil was used, saturated fat, unsaturated fat, amount of salt, everything will be given to the consumer. And digital natives, what they do is they go online and they try to get the entire information. And I think especially in the developed nation like the US, they always read every single thing which has been mentioned about the product. I have also seen, like, even for alcohol, like beer and everything, they have an entire docket. This was like a PhD thesis. When I went there for the first time, I'm like, this is a menu. Yes. So you have to read everything, starting from the origin of the product until how the product has reached to your table. This is quite interesting, because I've seen a lot of people, what they do is, besides the information is curated and there in front of them, they go online, they click on, they actually work with a QR code and they curate more information, because they are so particular about every product that they are using. And of course, the new technology has provided, digital natives a new shape in terms of the innovation. Here, I think the best example could be, the game changer was UPI. Of course, that was connected with the payments, because that was something which was there, badly needed in a country like India. And that is something which I was telling you before, that the first screen is the mobile phone, and then that connects with everything else that we do, which includes shopping, creating content, going online, chatting, socializing, all of that. So that is quite interesting to see. And the other point I wanted to mention was about the digital avatars, as you can see on my screen, that social identity. So there was another research and the papers which we have written on the social identity part, where the future will be that, how we look in the physical setting is not going to matter so much, because our digital footprints are going to decide that how people are and how they should be on digital platforms. So that self component, recently we wrote something on narrative selves, and which means that every self representation of a digital native on Facebook is going to be different, on Twitter, it's going to be different on Instagram, it's going to be different on Facebook. What does that mean? It means that the representation of a digital native on Facebook will be different, as the channel is different, as your audience is different. You want to have a different picture, different profile, different post, different content, all of that. It reflects your own identity there. This is quite interesting in terms of digital natives, because they want to represent themselves on all these platforms. Then there is another stage of info entertainment, because that is where the people express their views, people express their emotions. And what we've also found in a country like India is that people express the emotions very easily on all these social media platforms. And what is real is been reflected, at least what we have researched in our country. But yes, there are people, especially interesting part was when we were actually working on housewives, what we have got in our research was that housewife are always been suppressed of their social needs, and there's nobody who is there to listen to what is happening in their life. So what eventually they do is they go online, they make their own groups, and they try to satisfy their social needs through digital platforms. So they have also become digital natives. So this particular part of behavior was tracked by Mintra. And I think they developed a lot of strategies around it, where they actually help to empower the housewives. I think that is why I keep telling my students, and I would request all of you to always understand, marketing is always about empowerment, which you provide to the consumers and the digital natives. And the more you provide options to digital natives, I think they become very comfortable. But the moment you say, no, you have to do this, there is a retaliation saying that I don't want to do it. Why? Who are you to decide? I'm going to decide. So that is something which has to be understood by the marketers in terms of the digital natives behavior. So here are like a few frameworks, and I always say that the frameworks are very important, because they help us to guide the behavior and how we use it in our marketing of the brand. So there is a ROPO A, B, and C. It simply means that you do research online and purchase offline in the first category, where the consumer durables. In the second category, it is more of research offline and purchase online. And in the third category, I think for all of us where we are, it's a research online and the purchase online. So that is going to stay with us. And these are like 2 or 3 more frameworks which I thought would be interesting for you to know. So theory of reason action actually says that the key here is the attitude, intention, and the subjective norms. Now here, what does that mean? It means that if you want to change the behavior of a person, then subjective norms acts a very important role, which means that in a culture like India, there the subjective norms are our peers, our communities, and we always decide while using and consuming the products, how our communities, how our peers, friends are going to think about it. This is quite interesting, and it was visible that through our research, what we found that among women, this particular trait was seen to be more prevalent, because whatever they are using, they are very careful about the societal norms. So that is something that affects their behavior. So you have to be very careful here, whatever products that you're using, how you're consuming, and ABCD framework, which I just mentioned, plays an important role. Then gratification, of course, helps all the digital natives. This gratification for digital natives are like visual formats. They are, for example, aroma, which is there. And now the sensory brands and the branding has been used where we can actually do it visually. And I think McDonald's have done it, Burger King has done it, and that actually affects the consumer behavior of the digital natives. The other part is about the consumers online in the brand related activities. The only thing which comes in my mind for the co-creation part and the community development is the Harley Davidson group, which is HOG, which means that, you know, this is quite interesting. And I always cite this example to most of the audiences where I interact, especially people like you all, like digital natives, where you actually empower them and say that, you know, once you've done with the deal where the consumer or the digital native have bought your product, that is not the end of the transaction, that is the beginning of a new journey. This is very important because the way we have been trained in marketing, including me earlier conventionally, but over a period of time we have to change and we have to come up with new concepts where we say that digital natives have to be empowered, and when you're selling the product, that is not the end of the journey. That is what they do in their group. They take oath, and the bikes become so important for them that they become part of their life. So that is something which is very much appreciated by digital natives. So what has happened eventually in the changes in the behavior? Earlier they were consumers, then they became the contributors, and then they became the creators. I would like to say another example here about the brand volunteers, which means that I think it will take a while to have that particular concept in a country like India, but US has already started, which means that brand volunteers are little more than brand advocates, where they actually, talk about the brands, take the leave, be part of the board meetings, help the brand in their marketing, consumption, production, everything, because they are so close to the brand. So this is unbelievable change. And digital natives, the good thing is that they're ready to help the brands if the brands empower them, if the brands respect them, and they are ready to help the companies and the brands. So they have gone beyond the creators. So what are the changes in terms of the behavior? Earlier, it was the cognition, and then we used to play with the emotions and then the behavior. Now in the digital era, digital natives say that, okay, you have a lot of footprints on my Facebook, on my digital platforms, and all over the place. As a brand, as a company, you need to curate all of that, understand my behavior, and give me relevant contextual advertisement products and services. I am not going to tell you. So that means we go back to the data driven marketing, we curate all the behavior, and I would say it is more of a thick description rather than just the numbers, because that will also help us understand how these people behave into different settings, because they play with personas which are very short lived, which are contextual, which means that on a weekday a digital native is going to behave in a different way. They will be eating salads from Subway or so, and on a weekend you will find them on Domino's, where they can eat the pizzas. That's not the personality, that's the persona of digital natives. So that has to be understood by the brands and the companies. We should help them to understand their emotions, and then eventually their cognitive processing can be changed about the products and the brands. Now here digital natives always say that we have to be very much careful about whatever brands, and now they have plethora of options. Now out of that they have to pick up some options, right? They always say that we want to pick up those brands and products which adds value in their life. For example, if I'm using Audi, is it adding value in my life? Am I going to be praised by my community, my friends, my peers? If that is not happening, I'm not interested in your brand. So the entire marketing, branding, behavior, everything has been changed by digital native, which is quite interesting. So with that, let us talk a little bit about the during Corona stage, so as to say, which is more of HNH model, which is home and health, where the two parameters which came up in a big way. And I think most of around 50%, more than 50% of people still are working remotely from home. And of course, they have become more concerned about their health. And that has given a lot of opportunities to the brands. The business models have changed. For example, in terms of Dabur, I was talking before I started this session, they had an increment of 9% in the net profit because they introduced the new products, which includes Haldi Drop, Tulsi Drop, immunity driven products were introduced. So that is something which has changed the entire behavior, and quickly the changes were seen in the products that were available to us. So in terms of digital natives, as I was telling you, we all are still working from home and we are connected remotely. Shopping and consumption, of course, is happening remotely. What has emerged during that time, which is quite interesting to discuss besides whatever we have been discussing since half an hour, is the health and the well-being. Now, well-being and health is something which has come up in a big way. When I say well-being, I would like to introduce there is a mental health well-being, there is a physical well-being, there is a social well-being, and there is a digital well-being. So there are four categories of well-being, and that has actually affected the entire digital natives because you want to be socially connected. So I think yesterday only I did a Zoom call for a birthday celebration, and so that is a social well-being which is happening. Still you have to be connected, still you have to do the celebrations. There are wedding instances that we do on Zoom. There are memorial where people organize all of that through Zoom, so that everything we're doing it digitally. But eventually what is happening now is we will also have to be careful about the digital well-being, because how many hours we are spending on all these digital platforms and gadgets, that is also going to affect the mental well-being of digital natives. Because and that is the reason there was a recent report which says that digital natives should spend at least an hour on their hobby. And that is where you actually, when you create variations in your life, you actually have a balanced kind of a mindset. So I think that is something which has emerged in a big way during this pandemic. Of course, work from home, which means that everybody has been working from home, starting from your work, shopping, playing, everything, and usage of YouTube channels have increased. Because now what has happened is, in our earlier days we used to focus on why is that happening. YouTube has been used extensively to understand how certain activity needs to be done. For example, how do I tie that particular shirt, or how do I fix my shirt, how do I cook a particular recipe. All these how part, which is the know-how, which was missing, that is how the YouTube has actually helped in that scenario. And face mask, of course, still we all have to follow the rules, and it has emerged in a big way, which you will see. And this has also become like a fashion statement. And in future, what the predictions are from the McKinsey report as well, is that the eye care category is going to increase like anything. Because if you put up the mask also, you will be getting into the eye makeup. So that is going to remain. And that is also becoming the fashion statement, as I'm sure you might have seen that. And consumption and shopping has become more mindful. That is what I was telling. And we are heading towards sustainability, because I think we have to respect the environment under which we are living. So here is an example of Westfield, and that is where click and collect format was used through the driveway. This is based out of the US, and they reinvented the entire shopping because the footfalls in the malls, of course, have decreased. So that's how they have the driveway. I think that was started by McDonald's. Now every brand is doing that. And as we all know, of course, the employment has decreased, but apparently IT companies, and you all are in Bangalore, you might also understand that, Facebook, Google, and most of the IT companies, they have actually made a lot of profit because their employees were working from home, their fixed costs reduced, and they actually made a lot of profit in that particular quarter. And especially another example, which is of course what we are using, Zoom, 20 times increase in the Zoom participants. So that is quite interesting. health and well-being. So probably people have become more hygiene focused. Fitness was something which was already there, but I think it has come up in a big way. Another aspect of the example which I wanted to mention was about the telemedicine. So I think now you can get access to any of the medical facilities across the world, and probably you can get a consultation, which was not being seen earlier. So virtual fitness at home was something which was seen, and hygiene factors, of course. For example, even for like Big Bazaar, I was discussing one of the project with the industry guy from Big Bazaar, and he was mentioning that earlier it was all about the products and how it has been displayed and merchandising. Now we have to be very careful about how it has been seen as a hygiene factor by these people. So that is quite interesting to know that how the behavior of the people have changed, especially in that particular segment. And then the education and the leisure part is also changed, because the lines which are being blurred between the learning and leisure, because the passion for learning has increased. Do it by yourself has increased, because there's no other help which is there. You have to do it by yourself. So that is something which was always appreciated by digital natives. And of course, if you look at the entertainment part, the only thing which comes in my mind is about Disney. I was in Disney in Florida, and the kind of Omni channel experience which they provide at different touch points with technology. And at that time, of course, I'm talking about before COVID-19, they provided the seamless experience where you take a ride, you reach a particular store, then you get your own picture, how you were behaving, what was your expression while you were on the ride. All the touch points are very seamless. And once you pay at the time of check-in at Disney hotel, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to stand in the queue. The time will be given to you that, okay, at 12 p.m. you have to take this ride. You just have to, they'll give you a band, and then you have to wear the band on your wrist. You just hit the band, take the entry. Of course, you have to reach there on time. If you're late by a minute also, that won't allow you to get inside. But I think the entire experience is seamless, and the technology has played a significant role in it. And that is what digital natives like, you know. So there's nobody to help you in doing all of that. Everything is automated, and you just enjoy while you are there. Same thing I have seen at Shanghai while I was there last year in Disney. So in terms of Disney's experience also, it provides that omni-channel kind of experience. And of course, the example, another example for entertainment, I'm sure we all use Netflix. And in India, like 5 billion video streaming is being done, which is amazing because the infrastructure has developed. So yesterday, only one of my PhD student was talking about her work on content, branded content in video advertising. So there also she found the same thing, that, you know, this is how the digital natives have changed, and she collected the entire data during this pandemic. The other example is about the travel. Here, I would like to say there was another work that we're doing right now on the travel bloggers, travel and influencers especially. And what we have found is, you know, what is working now is the nostalgic effect, because anyways, people have limited travel. So they want to post about it in a nostalgic way. And the other thing is about the experience, which is more about how you have experienced at different places. So this is like an island which is actually being taken by the GoPro camera, where the entire experience has been provided by to the digital natives by the organizer. The communication and the information has also enhanced. As you look at the numbers here, you will see that how people have aggregated in terms of the usage of digital platform. So now coming to the third phase, which is the post-COVID phase. Here, what has happened? So here, the consumer experience, I was telling you that experience is important. They really don't care from where it is coming. And that's why I was citing the example of Disney, because the experience has to be seamless. It doesn't matter how your departments are connected, how are they doing the transaction, how are they communicating with each other. What important is aspect of digital native is that how are they providing the end experience to them. And in that, probably what is going to happen is technology is going to play a significant role, of course. But eventually, what we have also realized is that the human element will be doing more of a creative work. Human interventions will be required. Human interventions will be more required while we are dealing with baby boomers, traditionalists, and all that kind of, segments. And there probably when it is not transaction driven, that is where the human interventions will be required. In terms of the essentials, I think the good part is, and this is what I want to mention, there will be a V-shaped recovery, especially in China, of course, in India. And India is being very optimistic about as compared to the rest of the world. I think we'll recover very fast in the next quarter and subsequent quarters, because we are very optimistic in terms of the consumer sentiments. The digital natives are very much pro with the technology, so that will help us to drive the country and the economy. So the next part which is going to be there, of course, is the omni-channel effect. Here I would like to cite an example of Gucci, where actually they have started a digital studio where you can actually see the products of Gucci, and you can actually share that links. You can wear the product, share it with your friends. So eventually, even in India, what we have realized and what we have found through our research and work is that digital natives always want endorsement. Now that endorsement of celebrity has gone. What happens is, within their friends category, they will have a digital guru, they'll have a fashion guru, and they actually go to these people, the digital natives, through WhatsApp or maybe other channels, and say that, hey, tell me how is this phone, if it is related to buying a mobile phone or buying a particular clothing and all that. So that endorsements are always required, and I think technology will help them to make it happen. That is where the omni channel plays an important role, how the brands can facilitate that process. And that is where I was citing the example of Gucci, which I've seen while I was there. So other thing is about loyalty. Shock to loyalty means that, of course, the loyalty with digital natives doesn't survive. So they are not loyal, as I was telling you. For them, what is important is how much value does your brand and product adds in their life, and how much in terms of the recognition which they are getting through your brand. So that is something which is very important for them. If that doesn't work properly, then they really don't like those products and brands. Then the entire economy will be health and caring. Of course, the care part is going to be increased from the brand side as well, from the companies as well. And the health is going to be very important for the digital natives. And that's how the apps are emerging. That's how the brands are emerging, so that they can take care of their health. And that would be more of a home buddy economy, because I think most of the companies have also adapted to the remote working. And Mr. Ratan Tata also gave his statement saying that for the next 2 years, all our companies, including TCS, will be providing a hybrid structure. And I think I also read about L&T, where only 30% of the employees will be going to office and 70% of them will be working from home, which means that they are very happy at home because they can have their social life. And it also helps the environment, because as you're not commuting, it is helping the environment. So I think it is a win-win situation for everybody, for the environment, for sustainability, for the employees, as well as for the organizations. So what digital native accept and expect? So basically, they will be less anxious as they are right now. They will try to create the balance which needs to be there. And they will feel more connected. They will be kind. They will be more mindful about everything that they are buying, consuming, and whether it is affecting the environment or not. That is something which they will care about. And sustainability will play a very important role in everything that they are doing. So here are some of the brands which I have just mentioned. I think that is something which is quite interesting, which includes like Garnier, where they say that take care at home, and they've come up with a lot of personal care category products. Kit Kat, again, they said have a break, have a lockdown. And LG also said that lockdowns is good. And the same thing, the best example which I liked was about the KFC, where earlier it was finger licking, now it is finger cleaning, which is good. And that's how the brands have also changed. They've showed their care and empathy towards all these people and the consumers. So personalization has gone up because now people are ready to share their data. People are ready to share what they are doing at different instances. Earlier, it was not happening. So I think that is something which has changed the entire scenario of personalization, because for personalization, I was having a discussion with a lot of people and consultants who have worked in the industry, especially for marketing and consumer behavior for more than 20 years across all the industries like airlines and everything. And they were mentioning that, earlier people were reluctant to share their data. Now they are ready to share the data because they feel that they will be getting more personalized services. So that is something which has changed. Now, in digital well-being, I think this is the best example which we could think about. Your digital well-being will tell you like you have used technology or internet for 3 hours, 22 minutes, where you were on YouTube, Chrome, Gmail, all of that. So that is going to help you to understand what you are doing. So there is another project which we are working on with our global team, and where we are talking about social media addiction. Because what happens is digital natives not even realize that they are getting addicted to it, which is not good for them, not good for their mental well-being. So that is something which is very important. We are also studying that how consumer stress can be reduced and how it can be dealt with the well-being of the consumers. So in that case, we would like to proceed forward, which is about the consumers, how they are picking up everything online, and then they're buying online, they're picking up everything from the stores, and that has come up in a very big way, which is known as the BOPIS, which is buy online and pick up in the stores, and that has empowered the digital natives. So I think this is going to stay. Omni-channel experience, as I have mentioned to you earlier, this is going to stay. Word of mouth publicity will be there. And I was discussing with all these CEOs that we are interviewing that, the celebrities' value has gone down. And what eventually has come up is the influencers. So there are different categories of influencers which has come up. The micro influencers, nano influencers, besides the celebrity influencers and the mega influencers. Now these influencers actually drives the community. So earlier they were telling me that, earlier there was a rule of 80-20, but now what is happening is that maybe this particular influencer has not bought my product and service, but I have to listen to that person because that person might have 1 lakh plus followers. So that is the impact of social media. That is the impact of digital media, and that is driving the omni-channel shopping experience also. So it doesn't matter whether you have bought it or not, but if you are a key influencer, brands have to listen to you because you're driving that many consumers with you. So you have to, of course, understand the weak connect and the strong connect. But I think that is quite interesting because that's changing the entire ball game of the business, and it is also helping us to develop the omni-channel strategies, because especially this will be seen in retail setup. Retail is not only about the human interventions, primarily with women. They always like that they can help themselves while they are in the store, provided the technology has been there. So I think that type of experience, for example, if you're the future is, which I have seen in the US, it's going to come in India as well, is that you will get all the relevant product categories based on your preferences on your iPad or maybe on your phone. And then it can be connected and digitized in such a way where you can share it with your friends, where you can actually share with anybody in the world and take a decision about the product and services. It will be more of and you can always have avatars, which I've seen, like you, while you're using the products, you can have different type of avatars while the products are there. And then probably you can decide which one you would like to take, because in that avatar you might be looking good. And that brings me to another aspect, which is the second life, where we always say that, for example, L'Oreal does an amazing work in omni-channel strategy, and especially for the second life, where they always say that, okay, this is where your avatar is, this is where you would like to look like, and people are going for it. Like in the US, I've seen that people are, some of my friends, they were rushing home, and I said, what do you have to do? They said that I have to take care of my cow. And I said, where is your cow? So they told me that it's like on the digital platform, and that's how they have to go on a particular time, and to connect with that, have a virtual setup and take care of their pets and cow and cats and dogs and everything, which is quite interesting, because they are in second life. And that's the future. In terms of payments, of course, the modes of the payment will be becoming EMI based and technology driven, which you might have seen now, and it will continue. I think we will have to provide frictionless payments to the digital natives, because the moment frictions are created and in the system, they really don't like that. So the other part is about the sustainability, where people would really love to have the sustainable products where there is a social influence. The habit will be inculcated, where you're not using plastics, you're not throwing it out, you're not dumping it, you're using recyclable products. And of course, the feelings and emotions are also connected with that particular aspect of sustainability, especially for disposition in that ABCD framework. And coming to the last part of what it would be, so it will be the habit of the lifestyle, which is going to be there, which is for a quick recovery, as I was telling you, that people will have a V-shaped recovery. And because the digital natives are so much optimistic about what they're doing, the treat time will be there, mindful consumption will continue, mental hygiene, of course, will be there, well-being will continue, convenience, affordability, and sustainability will be there. And the key takeaways. So the key takeaways will be that the lockdown further brought people together online, as we connected online, personally and professionally. I think that's a good thing. In education sector, I think we have a lot of good growth rate, so that we have seen. And then the consumers, irrespective of the age and demographics, have started using the social media digital platform. Mental well-being and sustainability mindset will be there, which is going to stay. And that's the last part, where the spotlight of innovation will be thrive tomorrow. In terms of the consumers, there will be co-creators, as I was telling you about the brand volunteers, that is going to emerge. I've seen that in terms of Apple, in terms of Lego brand. I think that's where the future will be. Then the core competency will be reimagined. I think that is going to be a game changer for us in terms of digital natives and their behavior and how they're using their digital platforms. Incremental innovations will be there. There will be a lot of R&D. I think the only example that comes in my mind from our country is Unilever. So I was meeting the consumer insights head of Unilever, Manish Makhijani, and he actually told me that how seamlessly, Unilever is such an amazing company, where the innovations are being done simultaneously. The behaviors have been tracked. The data has been curated, and it has been sent seamlessly to the R&D team, so that the products and services can be worked upon. They can actually make changes, or if required, they can work on the new product. So that is how the company is able to survive. And then it will be more about the wellness, convenience. Of course, as we discussed, it will be more about leveraging the ecosystem, which will be very much there. And the another aspect which I wanted to just mention was digital empathy. So I think that is something which is quite important, because digital empathy is going to stay with us, and that will help us to drive the digital natives and the digital platform. So that's it for me, and thank you so much. So if you have questions, I'll be ready to answer that.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. It was a wonderful thing. Okay, we have seen so many slides, like, and lots of knowledge sharing. We thought consumer behavior with demographic and the millennials, generation Y, Z, but this was an entire new prospect, like digital natives, and there are lots of things to study about these digital natives. There are 4 questions in the Q&A session, and I also have one question, like, when it comes to digital natives, these people, like, there are so many brand switching behaviors. How do we identify that, and like how do we stop that? Like, are there any solutions through customer engagement?
Solutions for what? Could you please repeat?
Like brand switching behavior of digital natives. How do
Sure.
we?
Correct. That's quite interesting. And I would like to cite that I was in the US. We're doing a global study of 20 countries. And this is a pattern that the loyalty and the brand switching behavior is very high among digital natives. Reason being, one, they are impulsive. Second, they want everything quickly. They can't wait. Okay. And the third is they are very value driven. So given that particular set of mindset which is there, and it is more exaggerated in a country like India, as I was explaining you, that as we are being trained into different languages, we can access different type of screen, which means that we can curate information very quickly, and which means that we become all the more impulsive. So in order to manage that particular situation, the solution which comes in my mind and what we have offered is, how much value does that particular brand or a product offers to digital natives, which is again short lived, which is basis the contextual requirement, which is basis their requirement, which is short lived because it works on persona, as I was telling you. It is not their personality which is long term impact. It is the persona, because on a weekday they are different, on a weekend they are different. In a morning settings, when they are in office, they are very different as compared to the evening when they are with their family, you know. So the companies have to understand that particular behavior, and that can be understood very easily. That is what I was discussing with most of the industry experts, that they've started using AI and ML to understand their overall behavior, where they're putting it up into customer profiling, which earlier used to be on demographics, but now the profiling of the digital natives are on the basis of the value. Value means how much value they expect from a brand or a company to provide, and their expectations and likings. So, and it's basis the psychographics. So I think lifestyle psychographics are something which are to be studied very extensively by the brands. Once you do that, they are very much aligned with the brand. And I always say that mobile phone is nothing but friend in hand, you know. So if you are their friend, understand what they are going through, like care and empathy is something which is required by the brand. If you come up with a fear appeal in a campaign, of course you will be distorted completely by the people. Anyways, there is so much of negativity. So that part has to be understood. If you do that correctly, then they are with you.
Okay. There is one very interesting question from a research scholar, I think so. What is the future research avenues for research scholars in consumer behavior for journals?
Sure. So I think in consumer behavior for the journals, because in marketing area we have different type of journals. You have marketing journals, you have branding journals, and you have consumer journals. So let us talk about the consumer journals. So I am part advisory board member for the consumer journal of consumer behavior. So the future lies more in understanding how the digital natives or the consumers are going to deal with the machines. For example, how they would deal machine to human interaction, human to machine interaction, because they are going to coexist in the ecosystem. So that is one of the big area where people are looking into. Second area where research can be done is about the representation of the self, which I was talking about, the social identity, because the digital footprints are going to decide what type of a person you are, rather than, in the future. And I always say this to my own doctoral student, that the future is not about how do you look in the physical setting, they really don't care, but
Okay.
how are you positioned on digital footprints are going to decide what type of a person you are. And that is something which is quite interesting, because how do you present, what is your background on your mobile phone, how do you put up your profile picture, how do you want to stand out from the other peers, what is the kind of the content you want to post. So the content that we post is also determined by the persona. So
Okay.
that is something which is quite interesting to study. We have done some work, but I think more work is required into it. That's the second area.
Mhm.
Third area, which is coming up in a very big way, which I was telling you, was about the omni-channel experience and the consumer experience. Because the consumers, and especially the digital natives, they would like to see that how these channels are actually providing them a seamless kind of experience. So when they are on Facebook, when they are on digital platforms, or when they are on Twitter, how they are connected, how the shopping can be enhanced, how that entire worldview can be understood, how that environment can be become more seamless. I think that is the third area where we need a lot of work. And the fourth area where we need a lot of work, which I was mentioning about, given the collectivistic nature of our country and the culture, is about the influencer marketing, and how the consumers are going to get drived by the influencers of different categories, and how their behavior can be changed by all of that. So these are like four key areas which are coming in my mind. And in
Okay.
terms of branding, of course, there are areas like sensory branding which will come up in a big way.
Mhm.
So those are the areas where you can do the research.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you. And there's another question asked by Professor Murlidhar Deshpande. He wants to ask, is face recognition technology used for digital marketing and digital sales in near future? I think he wants to talk about augmented reality or virtual.
Sure. So augmented reality and virtual reality, we are doing some work in the travel part of it. And that is where it's going to play a significant role. And that is what I was also mentioning, that augmented reality and virtual realities are going to play a significant role in providing the seamless customer experience. Because the facial expression, recognition is used very much. While I was doing the Chinese edition of my book, I actually wrote that as a case study, because in China it has been used by almost every brand. So even for a product like cars, they actually use this technologies, AR, VR, facial expression, and they just do it by themselves. They don't have any human intervention over there. So they make the booking, they go there through the facial recognition technology. They have been recognized. They can open the cars, do the test drive, and come back. So I think that is where the future is going to lie, because all the digital natives want to go through that track only. Reason being, they always believe in doing everything by themselves. If they are being told by somebody, they usually don't like it. But if you tell them this is how it needs to be done, here are the guidelines, here are the steps which needs to be done, I think that is where the future is. So Volkswagen has already started using this technology in China. And I think in Asian market, very soon we will see that in India as well. Yet we have not explored that up to that level, but I'm sure that is going to be explored very soon. So recently we had a session with a person from Rolls-Royce, and he mentioned that if for a brand like Rolls-Royce, that is something which they will come up in a big way, because the future of digital natives are going to be with the technology in these aspects.
Yes. Sure, ma'am. Thank you. Now, Corona being the game changer, what are the new promising entrepreneurship ideas or innovative products, services which the digital natives can take up, if you can?
Sure. So I think this is quite interesting question because as I was discussing that there are a lot of businesses and organizations that have changed in the COVID scenario, and there are a lot of opportunities also. For example, there is recently a business which has been started that pick up and drop. Maybe you've forgotten something at home, and then that has to be picked up from your home and delivered at the office or somewhere else, wherever you are. That type of the business model have started. Then there are opportunities in e-commerce segment. So I think that has to be explored because everybody is buying online, and a lot of companies will get into the e-commerce segment. The third category which is coming to my mind is the health and hygiene factors, which is the hand sanitizers, mask, and basically how to ensure that the hygiene factors are being taken care of, because that was completely excluded, unfortunately, at least in our country. So that is something which is there. Our third category. Fourth category is how many services you can provide at home, because most of the people, even post COVID-19, they will be working from home and they will be having a hybrid structure. So while you are at home, how you can entertain yourself, what are the services that can be provided, like fitness services, online gadgets, apps, so that you can take care of your health as well as your hobby, everything. So I think that is something which will have a significant role in terms of the business models.
This would be a last question, ma'am. We have seen on YouTube lots of advertisements wherein the skip option is there. Okay. Now, when the skip option is there, it becomes very important for the advertiser to show the content within that few seconds. So what do you have to say about it? Like how the ad should be developed and what would be the advertising strategy
This
to
is
capture
like a
that
very
attention of
interesting question.
digital natives?
No, this is very interesting and challenging.
Yeah.
And I was seeing the webinar series with the DDB Mudra employees across India. And that is where their biggest challenge is as advertisers, because initially, if I go back and talk about a scenario where they said, Varsha, we used to have a luxury, and literally luxury, to have an ad of 3 minutes, where we used to tell the entire story with the storyboard, characters, all of that. But now even the digital scenario and everything is not so great in digital, and especially advertisers are significantly affected, because all the companies, the first thing they do is they cut down their advertising budget almost by 30%.
Yes.
So that is something which is quite challenging. And from 3 minutes, they have come down to a span of 5 seconds. So within 5 seconds, how do I deliver a message, and how do I narrate a story? How do I connect with the digital natives? And how do I ensure that they have this, brand recall in their mind? Because it has to stay in the long-term memory. The cognitive processing has to be there. Otherwise, they will forget everything which is there. So one of the strategy eventually which advertisers have started using is that they actually use simple short stories that are being connected with the brands, and that those stories are connected with digital natives. So for example, one time they will show a clip of a person, a couple, going there. So I've seen that in automobiles, which they have started doing it, and in other categories also. And then in the second one, you will see that a single student is connected with the brand. So what happens eventually is that you are on other aspect of digital native is they always want something new. So they don't want to see the campaigns again and again with the same kind of message. So that gives them variety. And I'm sure you all might have seen that Amazon ad of Aur Dikhao. So that is something, which is very peculiar and very unique to a country like India, because we are never satisfied. We always want a variety and then we want to explore it. And this is more in terms of women because explorations give them pleasure. So they
Yes.
always want to attend that pleasure while they're shopping, and they want to, explore different variety of brands so that they are able to decide. So in order to do that, all the options are available to them. So that is the second thing which they have done. Third thing which they have, all the advertisers, and you might have also seen, especially in the television advertising, now since a decade or maybe more than that, we have been talking about integrated marketing communication, which means that all the channels have to be integrated together to give a unique message. Unfortunately, that was not happening, which means that if it is a McDonald's, you should get the same message on Facebook, television, Twitter, everywhere. And television should connect you with Instagram, Twitter, every other social media channel, which was not happening. So that is another third change which has been seen in advertising, because everybody says that, okay, fine, I'm watching television, but I also want to get connected with Instagram and Twitter. So that is something which has come up in a very large scale. And the other aspect, in the last aspect which I wanted to mention was US has already started doing that, which is a real-time advertising, which means that we all will get different set of ads. Maybe we are watching the same program, which means that our psychographics, which I was mentioning, psychographics, demographics, everything will be studied by the organizations and the brands, on the basis of which, for example, if you are a fashion conscious person, then in that case, and you love makeup and everything, those brands and the advertisements will be given to you. And if you are an automobile freak kind of, or techie freak person, then those kind of advertisements, and that makes sense because that's where we are heading. So I think we've not still reached in India, and I was talking to most of the advertisers in India that when is that time where we'll get real-time advertising. But I think they said it will take more, maybe 2-3 more years to get that type of a scenario in a country like India. But I think when it comes, it will be so relevant and people will not get irritated by that.
Yes.
Because we're doing another project on digital disengagement, especially with advertising. And what we have found is most of the time people get irritated with advertising because it's irrelevant, because it is not adding value. But if you do psychographics study and the behavioral study of the digital natives and give them ad only what makes sense to them, that is how you are adding value.
Yeah.
So
they'll
it's
be
like
looking for those products. Yes.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was wonderful having discussion with you with Q&A session. Now over to Narendra Babu, sir, for vote of thanks.
Yeah. Good evening, Professor. It was a thoroughly enjoyed session, and it was great listening as well. The thing is, like, you touched upon various topics. Now it includes like digital natives, who are digital natives, in a pandemic situation, what's happening to these digital natives, how their consumer behavior has changed, the technical aspects of it, the culture and its influence, because we are having a different culture in India. That explanation was wonderful. At the same time, you gave as to how 3 layers of mindful consumption towards sustainability. You also talked about the usage of multiple screens and their impact on the consumer behavior and the digital natives, how innovation for new brands and focused brand choices have become something very different in this context of digital natives. You also touched upon the concepts of social identity. You also talked about the whole aspect becoming digital infotainment and how the emotions associated with brand concepts. Talked about the research concepts, ROPO-1, ROPO-A, ROPO-B, ROPO-C, which was very wonderful and very interesting as well. Theoretical frameworks, obviously the TRA, the recent action now has taken a different context. However, the framework remains the same, but the context is different. Now, you also talked about the users and gratification theory as well. Also, you touched upon consumer online brand related activities and types of behavior of digital natives like consumers, contributors, and creators, how the transformation has happened towards these scenarios, like how they have become consumers, how they have become contributors, and how they have become creators. You also touched upon many things. In fact, it was fully packed and amazing session, I should say, because as marketers, we all are very much aware of these consumer behavior aspects, but this is a different dimension altogether. In fact, we all refer to your writing, your book is very much with us in that regard. And your contextual explanation on Corona, as well as the changing consumer behavior, because now we are now leaning more towards digitization and how the scenarios are changing big way, and how the lifestyles are changing, and how we need to cope up with that for the future. Now, a well-packed, informative session, that's what I can term it as. Thank you very much for this session, and I thank you on behalf of all the participants and all the stakeholders at IBA. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. I think you summarized it very well. And you touched upon all the points that I was discussing. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to being with you all. Thank you so much for the invite. Thank you so much for throwing the lights on the various aspects which I covered. And thank you so much, everyone. It was a pleasure to be with you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. We want to host you once.
Thanks a lot.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
We would definitely want to host you once again. Yeah.
Host you once again. Once this Corona is done, like we'll call you to our campus. It's a green campus, IBA campus. Okay. Yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you so
We'll do
much,
that.
ma'am. Have a great day.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a great evening, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.